Welcome, family. Holiday, the May Day holiday. I am sure people were relaxed today, at least resting from the various works that we are doing all around. Welcome to Live with Chatufa. I have said that I'm giving you a quick marathon of what is around our country, what has been happening in the news on this very day. We are seeing again a development that we are hearing that Mnangagwa is set to buy military arms from Iran as Zimbabwe starves. Very surprising. The ZANU-PF does not cease to surprise us. Just imagine that the Iranian is reporting that the meeting that was held by the officials of Iran in Zimbabwe when they came is finally come up with some very absurd agreements which are not of any benefit to the Zimbabwean people. Just imagine, we are hearing that Zimbabwe, which is under sanctions from the West, is going to purchase Iranian weaponry. Why would Mnangagwa want to buy weapons? Remember last time we were also talking about the Chinese weaponry that were brought into the country. Mnangagwa is hell-bent on buying military weaponry. He's buying military arms as if Zimbabwe is in a state of war. We are not in a state of war. Why should we be having arms and arms being bought? For what reason? Because this country needs other things that are much better than what we are seeing right now. We don't need to have ammunition after ammunition being bought in the country. Remember, this is the same man who was appealing to the whole world very recently, appealing for aid, for help, for food aid to feed the millions of Zimbabweans that he was saying are starving. And he was holding a begging bowl with asking for $2 billion to feed starving Zimbabweans. This is the very same man who continues to go on a spree, a wild spree of buying weaponry, military weaponry. And you ask yourself, why does Zimbabwe need this? For what reason? We are not in a war and we are not under threat of war. Why every time all the money that Zimbabwe is making will have to be siphoned? So these are all deals. When you see these things happening, these are all deals. There is something that is behind what Mnangagwa is doing, and there are a lot of kickbacks. And out of these weapons that he buys, there's a lot of inflation of prices. You'd find that if those weapons would cost maybe $500 million, you'd find that the country can be charged 2.35 billion out of that $500 million, because this is what they are. Remember what Tagore used to do when he was bringing these Zupco buses from Belarus. Each bus would come and be multiplied almost 100% the price that he bought them for. And they would be pocketing all that money. So very sickening what ZANU-PF does and what Mnangagwa does. Every move that they do is not of any benefit to the ordinary Zimbabwean. It is to the benefit of him, Vene, and his children, and something like that. And I've also seen quite a lot of Varakash making noise over nothing. And one of them was Nick Mangwana. And he was also posting this very thing that I'm showing you on the screen right now. Very sad development. Let me just remove the banner so that people can see it clearly. So this is it. We have seen a lot of Varakashi, making noise over this what do you call this banner where it says Zimbabweans are going to be able to visit Iran. Why do we need to visit Iran? Why do Zimbabweans need to visit Iran? For what reason? We don't need to go to Iran. Iran is not even a peaceful, it's not a democratic country. It is a country at war. It is a country that there's nothing that who would want to ever go to Iran. And they were making noise about it. ZANU-PF has been making noise about it. Varakashi were making noise about it, as if it's a great benefit that Zimbabweans will be going to Iran without a visa. How many Zimbabweans have you ever had that want to go to Iran? For what reason? Such a suicidal place, a suicidal country where people are just killing themselves, where people are killing each other, where the government is killing people, where there are no groups and terrorist groupings that are always shooting at each other. There's no peace there. There's no democracy. There's no freedom of association. There's no freedom of religion. back there in Iran. If you go to Iran and you are found holding your Bible, you can be killed in Iran. They can kill you for that. So who would want to go to such a country? They, Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF would want to associate with these people because they know that they are disliked by nations that are developing, that observe the rule of law and democracy. So they have no choice, but they choose these dictatorship countries to befriend, so that they can be able to continue to do their dirty deals and, you know, get into some funny agreements that do not benefit anyone at the end of the day. So this is the country that we are living in, and this is the leadership that we have. Very sad to have a leadership who are only, you know, bent on doing things that are retrogressive. There is nothing progressive about just buying ammunition after ammunition after ammunition. Ammunition from Russia, helicopters from Russia, ammunition from China, ammunition from Belarus, ammunition again from Iran. For what reason? So Mnangagwa is just trying to frighten Zimbabweans by buying ammunition and bringing it into the country so that he continues to hold on to power. But it is unfortunate. What he doesn't remember, or what Mnangagwa forgets, is that ZANU-PF is going to leave the power very, very soon. The time of ZANU-PF is gone. ZANU-PF is seeing its last, is breathing its last. And whether they like it or not, whether they can force things or not, they are not going to survive. They are going down. We don't need countries like China. China continues to loot Zimbabwe. China is not bringing any benefit to Zimbabwe. They are only looting our resources. They are coming here and doing substandard jobs whenever they are given tenders. And they are the ones that are given almost those very big tenders. They are given to China because China supports ZANU-PF when ZANU-PF is sinking. I've told you in the past that it did not been for China, ZANU-PF would have sunk long back, but they were helped by China. China continued to give them loans, continue to give them money, and when they use that money for their personal use, that credit is handed over to the Zimbabwean people. It ends up being a national credit, and yet the money was taken into the pockets of Mnangagwa and the ZANU-PF individuals. At the end of the day, it becomes a national debt, and then Zimbabwe continues to sink. Zimbabwe does not prosper. Themselves, they have no problem. They have US dollars stashed everywhere. They have banks and you know, vaults and vaults of US dollars that are full of money and other currencies, hard currencies. So they don't starve. They don't have any problem. They don't care about what happens to anyone, to any Zimbabwean. Every Zimbabwean deserves to live a life that is, you know, progressive in a country. We need to live a life, not to always have hardship. Zimbabwe is full of hardship. We don't want to see hardship after hardship after hardship every time. Every time you go, wherever you go, it's a hardship. You go to the supermarket, hardship. You go to the hospital, hardship. To the passport office, it's hardship. You are at toll gates, it's hardship. Everything is just forbidding in Zimbabwe. And this is what we want to fight. This is a scenario that we are saying we need freedom of the Zimbabwean people from ZANU-PF and from this oppressive regime, which has lost its mandate to continue ruling and running the nation. We are demanding freedom. We need freedom. We need a new government. We need new leaders. We need a new breed of politicians who are going to respect the Zimbabwean people. So as intercessors, we will continue to pray for our nation to make sure that freedom for this nation is delivered. God is in it. God is moving. God is delivering our nation. Freedom is coming, whether they like it or not. Let us remain strong, for it is going to happen, family. Do not mourn, do not cry. This is a time to stand and to rise up and to continue to declare the freedom of the Zimbabwean people, because God is in it. The change champion is already moving, or already setting up structures, setting up the blue train into motion. Very, very soon, things are going to happen. ZANU-PF is going down. It's going to the book of history as a very poor party, as a very senseless party, as a party of hooligans, of thieves, of criminals. It's going down into history with a very tattered and tarnished image. And therefore, their own children are going to be inheriting a very bad legacy from their fathers. These are very bad examples of fathers and grandfathers who are going to leave a very, very shameful legacy for the family that is remaining. And that family is not going to have a peaceful life in Zimbabwe. They will not be living peacefully wherever they are because of the sins of the fathers. Everyone will pay for the sins of the fathers. God will punish the next generations for the sins that were committed by generations that came before them. So this is our situation, but God is in it. Let us continue to pray for our nation. Family, thank you for joining me on the show. I'm going to be reading your comments when we go to the main channel. Otherwise, let's meet on the main channel, Chatfa Television Production. We're going to be having 4 more shows that are coming. I said I'm on a spree of giving you updates as a bonus for the May Day. Otherwise, remain blessed, family. Love you and love you always.